guys, this is Akash from ProRadar Vlogs back with another video. In this video we have the BS6 Continental GT650 with us. I'll be explaining you the features and I'll be giving you the ride review as well. Let me start with the engine specifications. So this bike gets 650cc twin cylinder engine, and this bike produces around 47 PS of power and 52 Newton meters of torque, and it comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. This bike gets a fuel injection as standard, which has been carried over from the BS4 version. Even the BS4 version had fuel injection as standard. And the first thing I noticed when I got onto the bike is the clutch feel. This bike gets slipper clutch as well, and if you compare it to the other Royal Enfields, the clutch feel is lighter on this bike, though this is a higher capacity bike than the other Royal Enfields out there. And if you see the clutch pull, it's not too soft and not too hard. It's somewhere in between, which makes it a very good combinations for highways and as well as city. Yeah, in the city you might feel slightly it is getting on the heavier side when you are on the stop-go traffic. Apart from this, I would like to point out the main thing, that is the engine refinement. So if you compare it to the other single cylinder Royal Enfield bikes, this bike is pretty refined. It's because of twin cylinder engine which are provided in this price bracket. And let me tell you the price as well. This bike comes for around 3.5 on road Bangalore. So I feel personally I feel this bike has been placed rightly, and it has been a great successor from Royal Enfield. Even the Interceptor 650 and the Continental GT650 has been priced very aggressively considering its characteristics, the twin cylinder engine. The next thing I would like to talk about is the real USP of this bike, the styling. So this bike has been styled really well, and it resembles very similar to the GT535 which was discontinued few years ago, and it somehow brings the GT535 charm with it, which are little more refinement in the engine and little more bigger engine. The GT535 was a single cylinder engine and it was a 535cc unit, and this is a 650cc parallel twin engine. So if you compare the styling bits with the GT535, this 650 is almost closer to that, with a few little changes like the handlebar position. If you look at the 535, the 535 has much lower handlebar position and much rear set foot pegs. And the GT650 clip-ons are not too high and not too low. They are positioned very well, and due to which the seating position is very great as well. You don't feel like you are riding a very aggressive track bike, and you don't feel like you are sitting in a comfortable straight position. It is positioned very well, and kudos to Royal Enfield for getting the styling right on this bike. If you look at the instrument cluster over here, I am slightly disappointed about the instrument cluster. You get a very basic instrument cluster. You get both analog meters, that is the speedometer on the left and the RPM meter on the right, and both are analog meters, which is slightly a disappointment in 2020, but considering it has been styled as a retro motorcycle, that is okay. And you get a digital meter also integrated into the analog meter, so that reads trip meters, your odometer, and fuel gauge. Thankfully in Royal Enfield you can find a fuel gauge, so that is a plus point over there. And yeah, that's it with the instrument cluster. They are pretty basic. It's round in shape. It's actually matching with the looks as well. And the lighting setup is handled by all halogens, which is again a slightly disappointment over there. I wish Royal Enfield at least offer some LEDs on this bike. The front headlight is a round shaped headlight. It offers a good throw, and it is a halogen bulb. Even the indicators are bulb indicators. Even the tail light is a bulb unit. So I wish at least Royal Enfield gives LED headlamps and a LED tail lamp. That would be really appreciated on their part. As I'm riding this bike, the one thing which you will notice in abundance is the torque on this bike. There is no lag or there is no any snatchiness in throttle. It pulls really cleanly. There is no lag in power or anything. The bike pulls really well. That is where the advantage of 52 Newton meters of torque is there. You'll always have it under your tap. And this thing is a very big advantage, I would say, in highway touring or in the city, where you need to do quick overtakes in the tight city traffic, or on the highways where you want to overtake vehicles in high speed. You get all the torque in any point of gear and any point of time. You get it right from first gear to the sixth gear as well. The switch gears on this bike is pretty basic too. On the left side you get pass switch, and you get high beam, low beam switch. You get indicator left and right, and you get a horn button. Horn is not that great. It's meek for a bike of this capacity. And on the right side you get the traditional kill switch, and you don't have a headlight switch since it's an AHO unit, and a power start button. Okay, I'm nearing 60 kmph, as you can see on the meter. There is slight skidding due to the ABS intervention, but the brakes are good. Maybe if you get a better tire, there wouldn't be any such issues.